Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another episode of what is the Arsenal Transfer Show, joining you every single morning at 8 a.m. UK time. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well. Thank you as always for doing so. It means the absolute world. So if you could drop a like on the video, if you could subscribe, that would be very much appreciated. Just a heads up that the area that I'm in right now is going through a couple of internet issues. So if you hear any little lags or the image goes a little bit blurry, then that might be the reason as to why. Don't ask me why. It's just internet these days can never be too reliable, can it? But good morning. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. It is very much appreciated. Let's go into the chat box, shall we, and say good morning to people. Sweating Merlot, Matt G, Mike. We've got Shari and Stephen. Good morning to you, to Pikachu, to Arasilki, to Kaiser. Good morning to Peter Peter Capaldi. That would be pretty incredible if Peter Capaldi was in, but it's just Peter Capelli. I'm only joking, Peter. I prefer that you're in here, mate. Franklin, Damien, Alpha Wolf. We've got Amira. We've got James and Pam. We've got Stevie and Temmie and Roy and plenty more of you guys and girls in the chat. That is very much appreciated. So thank you for doing so. And certainly please do drop a like and subscribe to all of that YouTubey stuff that you've become so used to doing. So yes, thank you to everyone that continues to support us. It is match day. Arsenal travel up to Anfield to face Liverpool in the Premier League in what is probably the biggest game of the season so far. I really do think that that is the biggest game. There's no debate for me. I know Man City at home was a really big moment for us, but beating Liverpool away from home is the step up that I think that, we need to reach that level of being really taken seriously. So let's keep those fingers crossed that is exactly what we managed to do today. And of course, you can, if you would so wish, to get some more information about the game against Liverpool this afternoon. Well, what you can do is you can hop over and watch our preview show, which we did yesterday. You can go and see that on your screen there. So please do go and check that one out. There is, I really hope that what we see is a really strong team. Is all the players that we want to see fit and ready to go are there. And one of the rumors that has been circulating over the last kind of, I suppose, 16 to 12 hours or so is that William Saliba, for some reason, in people's minds, is not fit. I don't know if it's because he wasn't spotted in training photos or anything like this, but to my knowledge, there is and has been no issue with Saliba, and that there is an expectation of him traveling. So unless something happens in the space between them getting on, whatever they're using to either they're flying or they're going on by train or whatever, unless there is something very, very secret going on, William Saliba is fine. I think he posted a video of his haircut that he's got done specifically for this game. So I don't really know where these rumors about William Saliba are surfacing. But if you want to go back and listen to our Liverpool preview, you can do that. It is the last upload on the channel. So yeah, please go and do that. Moving forwards, Aston Villa completely blowing their chance and their opportunity to go top of the table when the opportunity presented itself in quite spectacular fashion. I think we can all agree. Yes, they did manage to secure a last-minute equaliser thanks to Nicola Zaniolo, who scored in the 97th minute. You have to feel for Sheffield United. You really do have to feel for them, don't you? Because they put in so much effort into that game, so much effort into that fixture, and they've still been mugged off right at the depth. I think you think of the Spurs game, when they were winning 1-0 at Spurs and they ended up losing that game 2-1. They have had such poor luck in the last moments of games. And I did put what I thought was a relatively amusing tweet up because I just know that there were Arteta haters, Arteta critics out there ready to tell us that Unai Emery was top of the Premier League and that Arsenal would not be matching that. Well, no matter what happens today, and I'm not taking it this way, but no matter what happens today, we will not see Unai Emery above Mikel Arteta. Actually, I suppose we can, but it would require quite the significant win on Liverpool's side for that to happen. Of course, where the table currently sits, Arsenal are top with a goal difference of +20, Aston Villa +16, and Liverpool are on 38 points and plus 21 of their goal difference. So I suppose if we were to lose badly, it could happen, but let's keep those fingers crossed that is not what we are going to see today. Peter says, Tom, is it different when you are on Sirius XFM or any other huge media outlet? You were amazing on this morning's show, but wanted to see how it feels for you when you're on those outlets. I really enjoy going on Sirius XFM. They're a really great bunch of guys, and whether it's Tom Rennie or whether it's Ray Hudson that we have a chat with, it's a fantastic opportunity to be able to go and speak and get over to the US airwaves a little bit, listening and talking about football as well. Moving forwards, Bournemouth insists that Solanke is not for sale. The position of the South Coast club are, without doubt, very stern that he is going nowhere. Solanke will not be leaving Bournemouth during the winter window. Whether that changes in the summer, I guess we will have to wait and see. But there is little to no expectation that is what will be happening. So no, do not expect to see any movement regarding Solanke, regarding Arsenal, because there is not an expectation that will happen. So sorry for those that are disappointed by this and wanted to see Dominic Solanke at Arsenal, but no, we will not see him at the club. David Ornstein at The Athletic has reported that Arsenal will indeed replace Gary O'Driscoll with Crystal Palace's Safar Iqbal, according to, as I've mentioned, Ornstein, who has reported this yesterday. It's been a lengthy process that Arsenal have gone through to decide who will be kind of their head of medical staff. And Gary was and has and will continue to do a fantastic job. I think he's moving up to Manchester United. But Zafar Iqbal will join Arsenal in the summer. So let's hope that he does a fantastic job. I think, for one, that he can. I don't know why the slides have now. Oh, I know why the slides have disappeared. It's because I was trying to make an edit to a typo. There we go. Okay. Hopefully we can return ourselves back to normal. So yes, Zafar Iqbal will indeed continue with Palace until the end of the season and then take over the responsibilities at Arsenal in the summer. So best of luck to him and congratulations to him, of course, as well on the position. Now, Arsenal did release their statement on the Arsenal website. We did our show yesterday, and of course, what would happen is that Arsenal would address the Super League in literally the minutes after we finished the show. I think it was released at something like 8:36, and I think we finished the show at 8:33. So yeah, I'll read you the statement. It's quite short. I'm pretty sure most of you already read it already. Arsenal Football Club notes the judgment by the European Court of Justice on Thursday, the 21st of December, 2023, and our position in relation to the European Super League has not changed. We will continue to play in UEFA competitions and continue to work with fellow European clubs and the European Club Association, the ECA. Some people said that this is not strong enough of a statement. Some people said that Arsenal didn't respond quick enough. I don't really care. I think people are taking this far too seriously. They've read far much too into what the statement was or what it was being said. Some people saying we've left ourselves open to it. But let's be honest, like, if your expectation, if your desire is for Arsenal to be unwaveringly in support of UEFA and FIFA, despite all of the controversies and alleged things that have gone on over the past however many years, I'm sorry, but I don't know what you're getting angry about, because you can't really blame Arsenal for being slightly with the door ajar to the idea of change in the future, because change might be and could be a good thing. I'm not saying that is the Super League. That's what I'm saying at all. But if your expectation is that Arsenal need to be unwaveringly loyal to UEFA and to FIFA, I'd kind of question where the morals are on that side of things as well. So for those that weren't happy about the statement, there it is. But we need to hear from Mikel Arteta as well. And Mikel Arteta completed his press conference yesterday. He was asked about the Super League. He says, "We are very clear, exactly the same. We remain in the same position, and we love playing in the Champions League and will continue to do so." He was asked a number of times about the Super League situation and kind of if they learned from the last time, and he said, "I don't know in terms of whether it has a future or not. Everybody would have their own opinion and commitment now. In a year's time, in 3 years' time, who knows how it's going to end up." And I have to say that, the Super League it just seems like it doesn't have enough traction. There's not enough teams that are in support of it. I know there's a few teams, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Napoli, etc., but yeah, it's just not the way it goes. He was asked about how that decision kind of was made about the statement. He says, well, the conversations that we had were very clear as to the experience that we had, as you said, 2 years ago. I think the club has issued a statement that is very clear and transparent, and we'll stick to that. And I think that he's right. It is clear and transparent. Their position has not changed and doesn't look like changing, but they will continue to talk with other clubs and the European the ECA to make the right decisions going forward. So there you go. On team news, though, he was asked about the latest team news and said Thomas Partey is still finalising his rehab. He still hasn't trained with the team yet. Mo El Neni will hopefully join us this afternoon to see how he feels about it. For the rest, no news. Jorginho is still a doubt. So there's the latest team news. Nothing there mentioned about Saliba. Declan Rice also expected to be fit, despite some people trying to. I think it's Liverpool fans really trying to just worry Arsenal fans. He was asked about Jurgen Klopp and his rallying call to Liverpool. He said that's a question for him. The way that we're going to prepare for the game is what we have to do to play better than them, to beat them, and to focus on our supporters as well. And I'm sure that a lot of them are going to show up tomorrow there, and they're going to be supporting the team like always. He was asked if he was surprised about Klopp's comments, which he said, I don't know. I have enough to think about with the team and how we're going to prepare to win it as well. I don't think we could expect too much more from Arteta in that regard. Right, shall we move to part 2 and your questions? I think we should, right after this. Okay, let's jump into the chat box. It appears we've got a comment that is on a 10-year delay from Too Late to Trifecta, who says Wenger out. Must be on a delay, buffering from about a decade ago. Salu says Unai is a bottler. He did it at Arsenal and he did it at PSG as well. Amira says can only mean one thing. Someone working at the club obviously watches the shows if they're releasing these statements out late. Maybe they are. They're not giving us time to comment quickly enough. They're waiting for the show to be done and then releasing the stuff. I'd find that kind of mad. Imagine if it was just like, we get thousands of fans watching the show every morning, but still, I can't imagine that they're watching this and waiting. Right, is he done? Okay, put the statement out. There we go. Yeah. Paul says the Super League is a must for those huge European teams who are hemorrhaging money through poor money management. How would joining benefit a well-run club like Arsenal? And it's a completely fair question. And I cannot see how it benefits the Premier League, the clubs. The Premier League clubs have got their benefits from being in the Premier League itself. And I don't know why they would give or allow some, rope to the clubs in Europe that might want to try and close that gap. Reggie says, Tom, you have to admit that Villa got the full Arsenal treatment, faced a low block all game, all calls going against them, push in the back, called against them. It was awesome. That goal, by the way, that was ruled out, I think it was Leon Bailey's goal. If that hadn't have been ruled out, it would have been the greatest injustice because of what happened with Ben White against Leicester last season. It was the exact same scenario, player holding onto the goalkeeper's arm. It was always going to be ruled out. I say that. It should have always been ruled out. And thankfully, it was. So, yes. Rob Bob says, how did Emery not get a booking? Arguing and remonstrating with the fourth official on and on. Could it be argued inconsistencies on bookings is way worse for managers? Why was there nothing from Webb or Owen on this? Is there bias? Rob, look, I've stopped caring at this point. I'll comment on it. I've stopped caring about the inconsistent calls against our coach and compared to others. I've just come to expect it now. At this point, that's kind of where we're at in that regard. Elliot says, what made you an Arsenal fan if you was born into it? What made you stay? What made me stay? I don't think you have a choice, do you? I've never felt like I had a choice. Once you become a fan of a club, you don't waver. You don't change. It is the club that you support. I was never had the privilege of being able to go to Arsenal too much when I was younger because we couldn't afford to go. So I went to the local side, Gillingham, to watch games, but it came mainly from my dad's dad, who sadly passed away before I was born, and my nan told me about his his liking of Arsenal, and so I was like, right, I'll accommodate that. I'll take that'll be the thing that I carry on into my life. That sadly I couldn't connect with him when he was alive. So yeah, I took it through, and that's where I've taken it from. So there you go. That answers your question. Byron says, morning, Tom. Would you agree if I said it's not necessarily Liverpool we have to beat, but the Anfield crowd? I still have memories of last year's game. We can't let the crowd get fired up. Yes, there is always going to be an element of fighting Anfield itself. I think we did a great job in what we did to start the game last time. The 2-goal lead that we ended up sadly not holding on to was really important. I think it also goes to show that if you get a goal, if you get a lead, it means little to nothing at Anfield, because Liverpool are just so good that they can completely eradicate any lead that you create very, very quickly. So, yes, there's an element of fighting the crowd, but Liverpool is also known for being loud at the start and then kind of trailing off, especially if we get a couple of goals, which is hopefully what we managed to do. I'm looking forward to going up there today. First time I've managed to be at Anfield in my lifetime, so it's going to be an experience, that's for sure. Joshua says, morning, Tom. I've been listening on Spotify for a long time now. First time I've jumped onto YouTube. Question, and I'm scrolling down to see where the question is, but I haven't seen it yet. I will keep my eye out, Josh, but thank you for listening on iTunes and Spotify, and everyone who listens on audio-only platforms. You are just as appreciated, so thank you so much. I'll come back to Joshua when his question pops into the chat box. Nexus says, Tom, have you heard about the rumours regarding Pablo Maya from Santos as an alternative to Douglas Luiz? Nexus, I haven't. Can you please tell me what the source of those rumours are? Drop that into the chat box if you will. Louis Campbell says, if there was one player who you would not want to lose today from the starting lineup, who would it be? In other words, who is Arsenal's most important player? I think we can all say it's Declan Rice. Declan Rice is without a doubt the most important player in this Arsenal team, without question. Alpha, who's been with us for 25 months now. Oh, amazing. Comedy TV, Arshavin and Baptista's replays. You'd have to tell me what they are. I don't know what they are. Maybe that's gone right over my head. I'd love to know what the reference is, Alpha. Please do provide that extra little bit of clarity that I need to understand. Here we go. Joshua's question. Do you think Liverpool will come out pressing like last time or play slightly more reserved? Well, I think they will come out to attack. And the aim of Liverpool will be to win this game. They need to win this game. There is more pressure on them winning this game than there is us. So they will be trying to win this game. They will be trying to do everything they can to secure those 3 points. And we've just got to hope that we can do everything we can to stop that, and obviously exploit the spaces that will be opened up by them attacking us. They were very nervous against Manchester United. I'm hoping they have those same nerves against us, and that will work, hopefully, in our favour. Maximir says, Tom, I feel quietly confident for tonight's match. Toughest away ground, but I genuinely feel that we can get a result there. Balanced sides fighting it, and we need to finish our chances. And it is that last line about finishing our chances that is the most clear thing. If you get an opportunity, you have to score. You cannot afford to miss those opportunities. So let's hope that we take them. Vegas Gunner, thank you so much for the kind donation. Tom, hopefully Raya has a good game. He's been shaky dealing with crosses, and Liverpool are the type to spray balls into the box. They are indeed. And hopefully Raya will be. He has had such good stats last season as a goalkeeper that collects crosses really well. Let's hope that we can also replicate that as well. Looking good, Tom. Thanks, Chris. So are you. I mean, I can't tell anything about what you look like from a comment on YouTube, but I'm sure you do too, Chris. So thank you. Kazire says, do you know where Uganda is, Tom? It's where I'm watching from. Much love to you, mate, and Merry Christmas. Of course I do. A, it's in Africa. B, it's where my aunt's from. So I actually have Ugandan family. So yes, it is certainly... there's a link there. So welcome to the show, mate. PJ says, morning, Tom. The only Liverpool player that is our weakest link is gone this season. Bye-bye, Bobby. Yeah, Bobby Firmino always scored against us. So the fact that he is no longer there is certainly a big, big plus for us. James says, Tom, have you put any more thought into starting a Patreon or something of the like? Also, this match might come down to who has the better keeper. James, I wonder why you might ask that question. Yeah, of course, I have put thought into starting Patreon. As I said, there's a lot of changes probably coming to the channel in the new year. Patreon is one of those things. We may be moving away from YouTube memberships and more towards Patreon. But I do always want to be as vocal and transparent with you all as feasibly possible. In our Discord server, we have a TGT business channel in which any changes to the channel I always put to the members first and always get their feedback. And I also want to get you guys and your feedback. Basically, the way that YouTube memberships work in difference to Patreon is like YouTube takes a massive chunk of what you donate to try and help support the channel, whereas Patreon takes a far, far smaller amount of money from what you commit to supporting the channel. It might be that we can do some extra stuff, some more written work and things like that benefit those that want to help support the channel in that way. But I will be looking into Patreon in comparison to YouTube memberships. But obviously, YouTube memberships do have that synergy with YouTube, which is where we obviously do the show. But to be fair, there is a lot of people that listen on audio platforms that aren't able to become YouTube members because they listen on audio platforms. Someone who is listening now will be listening and thinking, well, if I listen on YouTube, I might support the channel, but I don't listen on YouTube. So it's certainly worth, I think, maybe expanding into those areas as well. ZT says, Tom, what is your favourite or most memorable moment in this fixture? The Arshavin 4-goal blitz is mine. It's a great question. Arsenal-Liverpool away from home at Anfield in my lifetime, because I can't choose 89, because obviously that would be the obvious one, but I wasn't born for another 5 years before 89, so it's very difficult to pick that one. So I would have to go with, now you're not going to like the guy, but Robin van Persie's goal at Anfield in 2011. Alex Song, ball over the top, side foot finish, amazing goal. Arshavin, obviously. Julio Baptista. Was that away from home? The Julio Baptista Ali Adier game? I think it might have been at the Emirates, actually. I think that was actually at the Emirates. But it was. You'll be able to tell me in the chat box. Was the Julio Baptista at the Emirates or was it at Anfield? I have a feeling it was at Anfield. But the other one that sticks in my mind is the 2-0 win. The last time that we won there, which obviously we had goals from Santi Cazorla and Lucas Podolski, and an amazing performance from Abou Diaby. And I think that game probably sticks in my mind the most from my recent memory, at least. But I'm sure plenty of people will pick 89. Damien says, 89 is my moment. I was 10 at the time, and it's my first real memory of Arsenal. And I'm sure that a lot of people will certainly be feeling that way. Gunnar Life says the Julio Baptista game was indeed at Anfield. So there you go. That was also something that stuck in my mind. Anfield, Baptista, Ali Adier. That certainly sticks in my mind as well. Louis, love the channel, Tom. I listen on Spotify every day for a year now. Up the Arsenal from Scotland. Thank you, Louis. That's really, really kind of you. Oh, and there's a dog in the photo. At least I think it is. I'm sure it is. Yes. It'd be awkward if it wasn't. You imagine that someone puts their picture of something like their nan or something, and I've gone, oh, look at the pretty doggy. That'd be awful. But I'm pretty sure I'm right, especially after a donation. Oh, dearie me. Joshua says, my first career was as a music producer. I'm happy to record you your promised rendition of the Havertz song to a high standard for release. I'll tell you what, Joshua, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that is going to be something I'd want to do. You know, like Cher, when she has the auto-tune. We might be able to get like a Cher style Waka Waka. That might be the way forward. Jason says, from this current squad, who is Arsenal's most underrated player? Gabriel Magalhaes, without a shadow of a doubt. Daniel, I'm not reading out that comment. Let's go to Alpha says, it was at Anfield. I've lived through both those 4-goal hauls. So there you go. Oh, yes, that's what you're referencing. The Arshavin and Baptista hauls. That's what you meant. I was confused by the H word, and I was like, what? Now it makes complete sense. Chris says, morning, Tom. Just joined. What was your say on Saliba? Do you think he'll be out, or is it just rumours? As I mentioned at the start of the show, I think it's just rumours. There's been no suggestion at all that Saliba is going to be out. So unless something happens in the space of like a day and it's been kept very quiet, then no. But yeah, not for me. Keem says, am I the only one that misses Tom going a bit robotic? Yeah, those were the days. It's because I'm back on the old laptop. I use my new laptop for everything else other than this show. I think one of the biggest reasons why it was happening was because I was wearing earphones. Like wearing the earphones helped, but the problem is I don't have those earphones anymore. As soon as I get to Christmas, I've got another pair coming. So hopefully what we're going to do is swap back to the new laptop and yeah, and then hopefully it'll be fine. Louis says they are indeed dogs. Well, that is a massive relief. So thank you, Louis. That's very much appreciated. That really puts me at ease. Jonas says, Tom, did you see the game against Reading back in 2012 from 0-4 to 7-5? We all thought that Shamak finally had arrived. Just watched it again. I'm not sure that part about Shamak is true. That was very much at the end of Shamak's time with Arsenal. That was during Olivier Giroud's first season with Arsenal. Yes, I did watch that game. I remember that game very clearly. I didn't go, but I certainly remembered it. It was an amazing game. and certainly one that will stick in the memory. I love the fact that Cole Jenkinson thought he'd scored, but actually Theo Walcott's goal had already gone over the line. So there you go. Ezra says, who is your favourite Liverpool player as of right now? Oh, I don't know. Who on earth could be my favourite Liverpool player in their current team? I'm not even going to answer that question because the chat box is going to answer that question because it's the most obvious question that I think anyone has maybe ever asked me on this channel. So you're going to get told by about 50 million people in the... I'm being very humble about that. By hundreds of people in the chat box are about to tell you who is my favourite player in the current Liverpool team because it's not exactly difficult to work out. Peter says, Tom, you should have Spotify users post how many minutes they listen to TGT this year. I actually kind of know how many, because I get sent very, very kind messages from people who are doing their Spotify Wrapped. And often it works out as it's like, they show me that the TGT is their most listened to podcast, and it's incredibly humbling. So thank you to everybody that I featured as my... I hate you guys. I don't know why I have this ultimate honest devotion and trust with my chat box, because we all know that my favourite player in the Liverpool team is Dominic Szoboszlai for very obvious reasons. But these so-called fans of the channel, Rob Bob says Ivan Toney. Matt G says Oxlade-Chamberlain. Alani says Trent. Matt G says Mbappe. Boss says Mbappe. You think you're so slick. You think you're so funny. And... you're just not. This is a fake laugh. This is not real. Yeah. You know what you've done? As a punishment, we're going to end the show. We're going to. I don't care that we're nearing the time that we usually end the show there. We're bringing an end to the show there. I'm hurt. I'm truly hurt. Unbelievable. I should never trust you guys again. I dread to think what's going to happen at this live event in February. That's February 22nd. Link in the description for tickets. There are only some remaining, so please do not miss out. Perfect plug. James Madison, Ian Rush. This is going on. Yeah, and as Adrian says, I did do myself there. I put far too much faith in you guys. Far too much. Thank you for listening, everybody. Please, Emmy Buendia, Temi, that might be the best one. That might be the best comment. Thank you to everyone that's listened. Really appreciate your time. As always, do drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing tomorrow morning's 8 a.m. show from Liverpool, so make sure you tune in for that before I head back to get a train, hopefully on Christmas Eve, without any issues at all. Please keep your fingers crossed. Touch wood. Everything's going to be okay, and I'll be back for Christmas without any issues whatsoever. Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate your time. Have a fantastic day. Let's hope for an amazing result at Anfield for the first time in more than a decade. Have a great day, and as always, up the Arsenal.